and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, October 6, 2024. I wanted to show you guys one quick tip at the beginning of the video that doesn't specifically have to do with your lessons this week, but it's good to know for the future. These are the bookcases that are in the alcove in the second and third grade classroom, but they apply to multiple rooms. So the bookcase that is on the left has teacher supplies as well as fourth and fifth grade material bins and second and third grade material bins. So when you open it up, that top shelf has things like adult size scissors, plastic Ziploc baggies in case if you needed to send something home, paper clips, tape, that kind of stuff. On the second shelf and the third shelf is supplies for our fourth and fifth graders. They are labeled, and our second and third graders. It's extra crayons, extra markers, pencils, and the scissors. The scissors that we ordered for their larger hands are bigger, and so we didn't want to leave those out in the open. There are still some small ones too for those who have smaller hands, but I didn't want them out in the open. So they are here. So if you have an activity that requires scissors, this is where you're going to grab them from. Now down below, you have some activities for if there was ever extra time and you wanted to break out Legos, as well as shared paint supplies. Now in the right bookcase, this is for everyone in every classroom. This is where we get all of our materials from every week for all the activities. So everything in here is labeled. If ever you run out of a material in class while you're teaching a lesson, one of the teachers can come back here and grab what you need. So if you look down here, you're going to see things are labeled down here. Hopefully you can see everything that's in there. We've got everything from glitter glue to buttons to Post-its, white crayons, crepe paper. The second shelf is more of our paper type things. So notebook paper, construction paper, some felt, some butcher paper. And then just random things that we have more of. We have a lot of popsicle sticks, glue, crayons and markers, colored pencils, highlighters, more regular pencils. And then up at the top is more random things like paper plates, some paper bags. Up at the very, very top is the completely random stuff that will just randomly occur. So there's a blow up globe, bells, balls, dice, puzzles. So when you are wrapping up your lesson on Sundays, one of the most helpful things that you can do for me is to put away any materials you use. So if it's copies, you can throw this in the garbage. Copies don't need to be stored away. So lesson plan copies, copies of any worksheets that the kids are doing, those can go in the garbage. If it is the take-home sheet that you have extras, those can go on the table in the check-in room. But other things, like if you have extra ribbon from a lesson or extra tape, those types of things, if you could put them back in this cabinet, that would be really, really helpful to me so that I don't have to go back and do that afterwards. Also, if you're in the middle of a lesson and you realize that I have forgotten to give you something that you need for that week, then send one of the teachers over here to the second, third grade alcove and to find the material back in here. But so that's just a quick tip that should apply to every week while you're in here, no matter what classroom you're teaching in. Another thing that applies to everyone is that we have started a new month, and so our schedules are in every classroom on the dry erase boards in every room. The regular class schedule is for every Sunday that is not the fourth Sunday. The fourth Sunday has a different schedule because that's when we do the memory verse. So on October 6th, 13th, and 20th, this is the schedule we will follow. If you are serving on memory verse Sunday, that is what you would follow, a little bit different. But so the way that we always start is as the kids come in, they are to, unless if you are in kindergarten and first grade, there is a coloring sheet that you need to pass out at their desks. It's sitting on one table. It just needs to be passed out. They will do a coloring sheet, but there are second and third graders and our fourth and fifth graders can just sit and chat and catch up until 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock is when you're going to begin your belong activity, and you do want to start that promptly because you will only have 10 minutes. At 10:10, it is time to walk to the large group classroom because that large group lesson starts at exactly 10:15. There will be a 2-minute countdown clock. So if you're a large group teacher, you want to be in the room by 10:13 so you can hit that video to start the 2-minute countdown. If you're in second and third grade, teachers, make sure you bring the iPad and Bibles with you. If you're in fourth and fifth grade, you have to bring all these other materials as well as the walkie-talkie. I forgot to list that on there because you will be heading to your classroom upstairs immediately after a large group lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the small group activities for our kindergarten and first graders as well as our second and third graders now. So then that way, if you are not teaching large group or if you're not teaching the fourth and fifth grade small group, you can stop the video at that point. So quickly, our carts are always the same. They are labeled with what's on there. Top one is lesson plans and take-home sheets. Please make sure those take-home sheets are going home at the end of the time together. Belong activity is here, believe, and become. Now, our believe activity was a little bigger than usual. So I do have 2 bins because it's going to be kind of a race. And so there's 2 groups. And so it's the exact same thing, just in 2 different bins. All right, so here is the lesson plan for our kindergarten and first graders and second and third graders. You'll be doing the exact same thing until the new year. And that is when we will switch our second and third graders up to doing the same as the fourth and fifth graders. So belong activity, we chose Mighty Dough Power. It is blue. They always color code these and label them. So blue is for belong, orange is for believe, green is discipleship discussion. That is what we do last. That's why there's an arrow to the bottom and the time has it at last. Become is purple. Small group is kind of a golden yellow. So blue, belong, and you'll see here labeled belong and blue. It is scripted if you would like to do that. It does require small modeling dough containers. If you do not have enough, there are 20 in each of the 2 classrooms. So if you don't have enough, have 2 kids pair up together and work together on it. It is just kidding. Yours isn't. Actually, yes, it is. It's right here. So here's your belong activities right here. For a second there, I thought I forgot it. Then after large group, when you come back, you're going to do your build it up activity, your believe activity in that light orange. And so for that, you're going to need these blocks. We're going to be building our memory verse from this week. There is a key right here, keeping in mind that they're building from the bottom up to the top. And I included extra tape. That's actually not needed. That's just in case if any of those memory verse things pop off, you can tape it back on for them. Then we have prayer hands. It says to cut them out and to fold them, but honestly, when I looked at the lesson, I didn't really see how that was going to help it. So I did not do the cutting and folding. You're welcome to do that if you are inclined to do that. Otherwise, just follow what is in the plan. As always, and this goes for every grade level, I always recommend taking the time to look through this so that you are comfortable with what is in here. You are welcome to use the script. The script is well written. It's a good guide, but I love for you to use your voice. And in order to do that well, you need to know kind of what you're doing before you walk into the activity, so you kind of understand the different points that they're hitting during the activity. Following that, you do your wrap up. There's no materials for this. This is just covering that me question during large group. They set 3 questions, the he, the we, and the me. And so they're answering the me question, choosing a challenge for the week, praying together and saying goodbye, and then doing discipleship discussion. I'm only going to go over this once because it is the same for all 3 groups. It applies to this week's story, which is, you can see in the corner, this week's large group story is going to be about Rahab. And so it's, how does Rahab's story affect us today? How does the concepts of her story apply to us today? So what about loved ones' addictions? So that is a very real thing that some of our kids probably have witnessed in their lives, and so that, or in someone that they know, and so that's a good thing for them to kind of understand how God works in that. So that is it for kindergarten and first grade and second and third grade small group. So that if that is what you are assigned to, and you are not assigned to fourth and fifth grade small group or large group, and you are not interested in what they're doing, this is the time to pause the video or stop the video. But if you want to know what the other groups are doing, or if you are teaching the other groups, then please follow along. All right, my fourth and fifth grade small group teachers, this is for you guys. So here is your lesson plan. Same as always, they are in their labeled drawers, and same as we've been doing. When you are finished with large group, you're going to go upstairs. There's a list of what you need to have with you on the board. I'll show that to you quickly. You want to take it with you to large group so that you don't have to stop by the room again. This yellow bag here should theoretically hold everything. You want to bring your iPad. The kids should bring their Bibles. Have that upstairs key. It is inside the yellow bag already. Grab your lesson plans from the top shelf, and any materials that you need for the Believe and the Become activities. I forgot to write this on there, but you also want to bring your walkie-talkie with you so that you can hear when it is time to head back downstairs. In order to give you a good amount of time with the kids upstairs, when I am in service, I will send you a text when the last song following communion has started. And so you don't need to come down at communion time. It'll give you an extra 10 minutes or so to have deeper discussion. Parents know that they are not to pick up fourth and fifth graders until the very end of service. All right, so here's your lesson plan quickly. Again, just like with the other grades, everything is color coded and always labeled blue, orange, green, purple, kind of a golden yellow, and the titles are always next to, the name of the activity and the title are next to each other. So belong, might, and muscles, in case if you're curious about we're doing might and muscles. It's a belong activity. It is always up there at the top and color coded. So at 10 o'clock, you're going to start might and muscles. The only thing you need for here is a sheet of green paper and a sheet of red paper. So you can see the activity there. Your materials are here, a green paper and a red paper. When you leave large group and you have moved upstairs, you're going to do over and under. The only things they're going to need are their Bibles and a ball. So here's the ball. So that's going to need to go upstairs with you. So a teacher or a very well-trusted child should be the one to carry that ball. I would go with a teacher because I feel like that would be really fun to throw across the parking lot. So following that, your next activity is brick prayers, which is your become activity. And that one also requires this here. It does require tape, so I tossed that in there. I think there's tape upstairs as well, but I threw that in there just in case. It does also require scissors, but there are for sure scissors in the classroom upstairs. Then you're going to do your wrap up, same as the other group and same as every week. The 3 questions, the he, we, and me questions that are set during large group are answered. The first 2 are answered during large group, and the me is answered at the end of our small group time together. So you go over and answer for that, set a challenge for the week, pray together, say goodbye, and then you're going to do that same exact discipleship discussion that the other 2 small groups are doing. All right, so if you are teaching 4th and 5th grade and not doing large group, or if you are not interested in large group, now is the time to pause the video. But if you want to know what we are doing for our main Bible lesson in large group, keep watching. All right, my large group friends, this is the final part of the video, and this is what you are teaching this week. There, as always, the copies of your lesson are on this table underneath the bulletin board next to your stage. So you want to grab those before you go to huddle. That way you'll have it to look through it. You can see the online copy earlier in the week, but I always think it's just better to have a paper copy in your hands to be able to look through. If you're teaching large group this week, you need to connect with who you are sharing that responsibility with so that you can decide who is teaching what. The format that we've kind of adapted to is one person is teaching the Bible teaching. That is the meatiest part. It's 10 minutes long. And that is when the entire story of the week is taught. And then the other person does the welcome, the find it in the Bible, the review, and the wrap up. Those pieces involve a lot more media, and they're just shorter and quicker. So the second person can do the other 4 parts. So I'm going to go through it. There are 3 copies now for our 2 teachers and our tech helper that we talked about during training. So if you have not already assigned during huddle one person to be your tech person, then you need to do it before it starts so that they are in charge of the slides. And I'm going to actually use the tech helper's copy, so then that way you can see how it's set up for the person that does it. It always has your supplies listed. Supplies should either be on the table or already set up on the stage if it was something that required being set up. So we, for your welcome, you need a blindfold and your video player and your intro video. So your blindfold is here. And then this is your welcome. So you do this activity using the blindfold and a few of the kids, and then you're going to play that intro video, or the tech person is going to play the intro video. So I have highlighted all of the tech person's things in yellow. And then you're going to set the 3 questions for our large group lesson, the he, the we, and the me. You're going to answer these 2 by the end of large group, and the me will be at the end of small group time. Then you're going to switch over to find it in the Bible. There is a slide that shows God's big story. So tech helper, that's what you're going to do. And at the top, you can also always show it onto there if there's an issue with the tech, but also it's just good to put your eyes on it each week to know where our story fits in God's big story. The part that actually gets read out loud is this portion here, and the kids are going to be opening their Bibles up to Joshua 2 and 6, so they know where our story about Rahab is located in the Bible. Then our other teacher is going to be coming in at this point, and they're going to do our Bible teaching. You always start off with praying together. Now, there are pieces that are directly from the Bible. I know that some teachers prefer to have their Bibles up there with them. There is a Bible up there with you. It is scripted in here so that you don't have to look for it in your Bible. So it is written up here for you. And again, everywhere there's a teaching slide is highlighted in yellow. This does involve using Jenga and kind of doing it slowly. So a Jenga tower has been set up for you on there on as flat as a surface as I could. If for some reason it has fallen by Sunday, put it back up before the lesson starts because you'll need that for Bible teaching. So at the end of Bible teaching, you always point to Jesus. Where does our story point to Jesus today? And then our other teacher is going to jump back in at that point and show the Bible review video. Tech person's going to click that open, and then they're going to do the questions. So there are corners in the classroom to answer A through D for these questions. They are marked. A is here. B is on that window, which is kind of hard to see with the light, but you can see here's B, over here is C, and the mirror by the bathroom sink is D. So that's where the kids will be going. It's going to be chaotic, but that's okay. A little bit of chaos is good. So we're going to answer those questions together and then come back to the carpet for wrap up. And that's where you're going to answer the he and the we questions that you set. Talk about how this month's brand new bright idea is that God is mighty. And we have a brand new monthly memory verse. So you're going to read it to them, and then you're going to show the memory verse video, or our tech person is going to show the memory verse video. So quickly before I sign off, I have, well, here's your Bible. Also, make sure that you turn on your microphone. It's on the back of the speaker. Here at the bottom, there's a power button. You just flip it to on. Having the microphone makes a huge difference with the kids keeping their attention. And then I also wrote up our new memory verse up here, and our bright ideas for the month are here. So God is mighty was just added. So I'm going to end with our monthly memory verse. It's from Zephaniah 3:17a. The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for serving. I will see you on Sunday. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can find my phone number in Planning Center. Call me, text me, ask me in person. I would love to connect. And thank you again. I'll see you on Sunday.